Joan is the aunt you wish you had. Joan listens to your stories and then she tells them back to you in another way. She does this through a video camera, through costume making, through drawing, and through transforming, what we see. You never know what you're going to see in a Joan Jonas work. My name is Jason Moran. I'm a composer, pianist, and I'm talking about Songdelay by Joan Jonas. Songdelay is an early performance of Joan Jonas's, shot with a cast of performers in downtown New York in a seemingly field next to the Hudson River. And they do a series of acts, sometimes with instruments like blocks, sometimes with language, and sometimes with the boat that's passing by. And so all that is captured in this 18-minute video. There's a lot about Songdelay that's incredible. It's how sound is used and how it's captured by the microphone, sometimes in complete opposite of what you're seeing. These close-up of performers, meaning you hear the distance of the sound. And that is a bit of a mind trip. And I feel like music is able to do that. Shift your perception.
Is there anything reminiscing on this song that gravitates to you, something you want to play? Or
What would I play? One part says, oh, play this Cajun song that Joan remembers singing for Songdelay. That's my first thing. It's like, oh, we'll do an improvisation on that. Now, the other thing is like, oh, maybe I could play Reanimation. Reanimation is a song that is about repetition, and you would hear this delay between the left hand and the right hand. They never quite line up. And it's this back and forth that might also line up with Songdelay. Watch these performers sometimes intentionally playing the blocks off of one another and then trying to synchronize them. Because sync is a real thing for New Yorkers. Getting on subways and crossing streets together, sync is important. And for Joan's cast, sync is important. We see them trying to manage that delay, manage the speed of sound. In New York City, we have sound ricocheting off the buildings. But in this field, it's kind of unobstructed. But for me, the one that is most potent is what is the song? Is it the clapping of the wood? Is it the Euro freighter, the big boat coming up the Hudson River with all its colonial power, singing its ominous? Is it the song that she's humming? Is it the people yelling to each other or talking closely to one another? She presents many ideas of what songs can be. That is the distance between the performers, the filmmaker, and the audio, and then the viewer. And that is the delay that, for me, is interesting, too. There's something that comes up in this piece is it starts with this painting of the bricks. It's like the first mark, the line in the sand. It was, these are important parts of Joan's process, the mark making. She draws, painting this line on the New York City cobble, which is like a real thing for the way New York has continued to grow as a city. There's a lot in that very subtle moment of painting this white line. Seeing it today makes me think of all of that. The difference between the line and the circle. The line divides, the circle unites. There's this beautiful moment where you see these two figures trying to manage, how do I walk the line and how do I walk the circle? But we're holding a pole, and they're trying to manage the timing to be able to do this, how to manage the people who want to unite versus the people who want to divide. And they are not walking the same choreography, but somehow they need each other to do this. It's very bizarre. And it's kind of classic Joan too, because it made me start to question then where was I in it? As a musician, as a citizen in New York City, where am I? I would say that I'm a person who wants to be in the circle, who helps make the circle. But I definitely hold a line. Joan is like everything to me. We have twin boys. One of them is named Jonas on purpose. When I met Joan, my mother had passed away. And Joan and another artist, Adrian Piper, kind of arrived in my life around the same time. And they located this possibility about conceptualism and about distance and about politics and about the body and about intentionality, which were things that I may not have been ever thinking about as a music conservatory student. I started to understand that maybe in the music practice, there was something that was being left behind that was not recorded. And though I might leave a piece of sheet music, or I might leave the sound or make a recording of the performance, but what about all the sweat, right? What about all the funk, right? What about the way my foot was hitting the ground? How is any of that registered? For sound makers, we generally think, oh no, we put it in you, we give you the sound. And that's our poetry. But it's frustrating as well. And Joan helped me leap that fence. My role is to reflect the world that you don't get to see. And if I get a chance to show it to you through sound, then maybe you'll understand it a little better. And hopefully you'll see a side of yourself that you didn't know existed.